guys. Oh, hi guys. Today I'm going to try and do a tutorial on sweet peas. Now we have the teeny tiny sweet peas. I'll put my finger by there so you can see how small they are. I think these will probably be, I've put them on a heart because of Valentine's Day, but they'll probably be ideal on a christening cake or something small and delicate. So they're really tiny. And then we have the real sized sweet pea, which I've done in white. I'm going to be working in I suppose it's a lavendery colour, so that hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I'll take these out of the way. And if we can work as fast as we can get the two in together. Right. This is going to be done without cutters, because I know we haven't all got the cutters for the different flowers. I've already cut them out. This is what I used. They are circles. You need to get a small circle that's around about half of the large one, and then in between those two we have another one, so there's three of them. And I use the calyx, which is the smallest one that I've got, which is just a really tiny one. Put my finger by there, you can see how big it is. Okay, so to start off, we need a teeny pea size, I suppose, bit of fondant. That's it. So about that big, really tiny. The wire, which I think this is a 22. I'm not going to be able to see that. Let's see if I can get something white behind me. There we go. Yeah, that's better. You need to make a hook. Once you've made that first hook, you need to come in again behind it and make a second hook. That gives you sort of a, I suppose, a D shape. Here you go. Now take your pea, give it a squash, pop the wire into some glue, which I'm using Tylos and water. This is probably not going to come up off here. Oh, it is. Press it in and just pop that round. Whoops. Press it together. It's not going to close. Okay, we need a little bit of glue. Pop that in there. There you go. Now we have a D shape. Now if you take the smallest circle, which was the middle one, when I'm trying to pick things up, I usually use a flat brush. There we go. Now we need a little bit of glue on here. This is still damp. So we just go, not damp enough. Go down the centre, and we'll just go on the bottom half at the sides. One of the reasons that people say don't use too much glue, one, fondant does not like moisture, but the other reason is it sticks better if you're not using too much. So it means that you can just press that down and it'll pick up, makes it easy for you to work with. Now you need to pinch that over what you've already made, your little pea. And I haven't done the edges of this. You should really soften the edges, and I didn't do that bit. Right, So now you bring it together and you give it a pinch at the back, a little pinch, but we don't want to close it completely. Now we need to pull that back. So now we have flat piece at the bottom and this little bit sticking out the back. That's the first stage. Now I've already made one, and as you can see I actually softened the edges of that one. I'll bring this little fellow in. Now we go to the next shape, the next circle. This is where we start to, without the cutters, we start to shape it. I've got a little heart here. You could use a small triangle or something that you've got that you can make a cut into here. So if you put your fingers very close and push, whee, it's very humid here at the moment, so everything's sticking. That's it. It's a lot easier when it's not so humid. So you've got your little, I suppose that's like a lily pad shape. Now we need to take a ball tool to soften the edges, which I forgot to do on the last piece. If you haven't got a ball tool, you can use the end of, paintbrush. On one of my tutorials earlier, I said that I used a quarter measuring spoon, but it's going to be too big for this. So we just soften the edges, and we want a bit of a ruffle going on. We'll draw that up, and you can pop those back down to get a good ruffle. Now we need a little bit of glue down the centre where you're going to be sticking the back down, and then when we draw it up together we need it to stick together, but we want this to open up, so we don't want to go too far. Now this looks a different colour because it's dried. What I did was I pushed this to the end of the mat and let it flop over. Because we've got that little bend in there, it makes it a lot easier to pick up. So now we can pop it down, give it a squash, pick it up, turn it over, and draw those two bottom edges together. And as you can see from that, when fondant dries, it dries lighter. Now with a brush, you can pop that open. This one's not very ruffled, but no flower is going to be the same, so it's not that important. Don't worry yourself about it if you feel it's not perfect. Once you've made sort of 8 of these, they'll all be slightly different, and that's what you want. Now we move on to, it's my dried one, your biggest one. Now looking at the cutters, they seem to be slightly wider. We've got that wing effect either side of the of the flower, so we need to just give it a little bit wider. Not too much. And then I just draw down the bottom, so we start to get a slight teardrop shape, not too much.